Hi, I'm CJ Altenberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We appreciate you tuning in this morning. We've got an absolutely beautiful Cimarron 8-horse sitting behind me. This is a custom build for a customer, so unfortunately this trailer is sold. But what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through this, show you all the different cool options. We can help you go through this process. If you want this exact trailer, it's really easy for us to duplicate it and build it for you. Or you can do your own variation. That's a nice thing about these Cimarrons. They're like a fingerprint. So what we can do is we can build it to exactly your liking itself. It's a really fun process. We enjoy going through the entire process of the build, the specs, making tweaks here and there, and then getting you the end result just like this. So this is a 2023 Cimarron Norstar 8-horse, triple axle air ride, integrated pod, trainer tack. It's got a ton of options on it. Before we start walking you through, showing you all this, let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing so you can kind of get a good idea on how this trailer is laid out. Again, an 8-horse Cimarron. It is 40 foot, 3 inches on the floor. We have a 9-foot nose on this one. This is 8 foot wide. This one is 7'7" tall with the integrated pod. Again, trainer tack, front tack, mangers. This thing is loaded. It is absolutely a gorgeous trailer with a ton of options on it. So bear with us. We're gonna hope we don't miss anything showing you here on this trailer. So let's jump into it. One of the first things you'll notice when you're kind of looking at it is they opted for the black sheeting with the polished extrusion. So you have that polished top rail, bottom rail, the extrusion down the side. As we get towards the end of this, we'll kind of button it up in some areas, and then you can kind of see that a little bit more. But on this, they capped it off with the enclosed front end. That's what we're looking at here underneath the neck. So I really like this feature for multiple reasons. First and foremost, this is a really good looking trailer. In my opinion, I think it just finishes it off. It gives it that sleek look to it. The other thing is this will protect everything that we have behind this area right here. So as you can see, we've got a spare tire located behind it. With this trailer being this size, it's going to have the dual electric over hydraulic jacks. This does have a manual override with the equalizer system that Cimarron uses. You'll also notice our battery box up here. We're going to actually have our battery with a battery disconnect. That's going to power these hydraulic jacks, also put power to our lights. The other thing that we have located underneath here is our air ride compressor. So again, this is air ride suspension. We're going to talk more about that, but that's the actual compressor itself. It's all self-contained, so we don't have to have an external power air source or an air source from the truck itself. That system you turn on, you put it in the raised position anytime you're pulling this trailer. When you put it away, you turn it off, you put it in the lower position, you clear the line, then you reach in there and turn off that battery disconnect in that battery box. But again, very, very simple to use. We have done some how-to videos on actually how to turn the system on, turn it off properly, real short kind of clips, about a minute, 2 minute, those type of videos that we can send to you as well, so you can see how easy it is to actually operate there. The nice thing is about that dual hydraulic jack system is you're gonna have dual switches as well. So when you get into these bigger trailers, if you're not 100% square over the ball, you can actually kind of manipulate it and kind of walk it on there by having those dual options. Also, if you unhook it somewhere and it's tipped one way or the other and you need to extend or retract one of the feet one direction or the other, you can do that with that option there. Now, this is an extra tall trailer, but we still went in, we did a 53-inch gooseneck drop. If you watch a lot of our videos, we talk about that on a lot of our using trailers. But anytime you're pulling with these newer trucks or these taller truck beds themselves, that's become a challenge. We want you to have bed clearance. We want these trailers running level. Now they're gonna be hauling this with a hauler, so that's not gonna come into play as much, but anytime if they were to hook onto like a 450, something along those lines with bed clearance, they're gonna be totally fine as far as that's concerned. With that being said, about that hauler, or some of these guys that are hauling the semis, one thing we always have to watch is the coupler itself. So in this instance here, they've teamed up with B&W. They did that a couple years ago. They've redesigned this a couple times. we actually, you know, had them build us kind of some lower profile handles with an additional hole for us. So when we get in these instances with a hauler, a semi, where we need to get this coupler shoved up into the stem a little bit more, into that sleeve, we've got that extra hole. So again, we have that ability to make this trailer running level. So this is a brand new design that they've actually come out with. You're gonna start seeing this on all of their Cimarrons that are coming off the line. You know, they've got a living quarters coming as well. That one actually has the older style, where you end up getting them one of these just because of what they're actually hauling it with. Then because of that enclosed front end, if you caught that at the beginning of the video, I said it has a 9-foot nose. So standard is 8.2, but whenever we do that enclosure, we're gonna lengthen that because we still want that same amount, that distance from the front end of this trailer to that actual coupler itself. You know, on these Cimarrons, you can be pulling with a long box pickup, drop your tailgate, and you can still walk behind that. A lot of other manufacturers, you're butted right up against the spare tire. You have no room for error as well when you're backing up. But that is a standard option. And again, when we enclose that front end, we're going to lengthen it a little bit more for you to be able to kind of work behind that trailer itself. Now, you probably caught a glimpse of that trainer tack. We'll get back to that as we walk through this trailer. But on the other side that we're looking at over here on passenger side, we have an access door going into this front tack room. Now, we do have this trailer aired up right now. So this trailer is about 2.5 inches higher than what it would be when it's dumped. So that is a little bit bigger step than what it normally would be. But by having these steps, it makes a world of difference when you're getting in and out of these trailers themselves. So this is just going to be a nice big front dressing room. Again, we've got a 4-foot offset compared to the driver's side. So this is going to be the long wall. So in here, we put a lot of hooks for them, carpet behind them, just so whatever they're storing, hooking on these, they're not swaying back and forth, you know, scuffing up that aluminum that's behind there. These are aluminum powder coated bridle hooks, so nice and stout. This is a design that Cimarron's come up with, a lot taller and then a lot more depth off the wall as well on these. If you look up in the gooseneck area, just carpet up there on the deck itself, we did a OptiBrite light kind of center up there in the actual gooseneck itself. We did a boot box, 18-inch, so it's nice and deep, but this works as a great step hopping up in here. Again, with it being just more of a front dressing room, it could double as a nice little bench for you. And then back at the very back of the wall of the front tack room, you're going to notice we put a shelf. It's got a nice lip to it, so we can, you know, toss some hat cans up there. They're not going to shift around. You've got a clothes bar that goes across, hang clothes in here, another set of hooks behind the actual door itself as you come in, and again, another light. We actually went in and put a couple roof vents in here, just if they wanted a little bit more kind of air in this trailer, they've got the ability to do that. So again, a really nice big dressing room on this trailer. As far as this is concerned, a lot of floor space. So they've got the ability to carry, you know, quite a bit of stuff with them wherever they're traveling. Whether it's their luggage as they're traveling or just items for a show, anything along those lines there. Combo deadbolt on that, so you don't have to have a key. It does have the option to actually lock it with a key on the actual handle itself, but that combo, you can just lock it, send somebody to the trailer, they don't have to have a key, punch in the code, and they can get in really easily. There's a good look at that polished extrusion. This is a sharp trailer. Polished extrusion, what you have to do is you have to just kind of care for it a little bit differently. You never acid wash these trailers. You only want to citrus wash them. Acid will burn them, then you have to have them repolished. But that, all you have to do is take them somewhere at a good truck stop. They're going to know what chemicals to use, not to use, but a citrus wash is what it's going to take. It's a brightener, and it will take a little bit more, maybe hand towel, you know, so you don't have water spots. Me personally, I like the guys that just get in, hop on the interstate and go, you know, 80 miles an hour and let it air dry out. Okay, so here on passenger side, you're going to notice they went in and put drop windows rather than going bus windows. Get a lot more airflow by having the drops on tail side as well. You're going to notice the first 4 do not have jail bars. The back 4 do. When we get into the stall area, we'll explain why. But as you can see, drop windows, ton of coverage as far as that's concerned. By getting that airflow actually in this trailer itself, you're going to notice a light right here in the middle of this trailer. So that's an amber turn signal. That's a small feature that we like to put on our trailers, whether it's these big trailers, 8-foot wide living quarters. Look, it's a long ways from the back of this trailer to the front of this trailer, and your turn signals on your truck and then turn signals at the back of this trailer. This will indicate when you turn your blinkers on, when you apply your brakes, and it also works as an extra big marker light as well. So we like putting that really small little feature on these trailers just for that reason, because a lot of people aren't paying attention, and hey, let's have something kind of center of that trailer so they understand you're trying to get over. Now, as we get to the back of the trailer here, a couple things going on. You're going to notice rear ramp over the back of the trailer, one large door on the back. We'll show you when we get to the driver's side why that is, but we got a couple other things going on. Easy angle ladder getting up there to that hay pod itself. So that pod will house anywhere from 10 to 12 bales of hay, just to kind of depending on size. But this is a fantastic ladder because you can actually crawl up this and carry feed bags with you. Maybe you got buckets that you're storing up there. It makes such an easier transition going up into that area rather than a bolt-on. And we actually have a deck at the back of that pod, and then we've got a safety gate that goes over it as well. Pedestal lights, load lights at the back, and backup lights. We're doing that on a lot of our inventory trailers, a lot of these big trailers. Again, that truck's a long ways away from the back of this, where it's 40 foot on the floor. By having those backup lights, it gives you some more light coverage when you're getting into those situations where you're unfamiliar where you're backing into at night, or even just getting home, having that coverage there. Now we're going to get in the stall area. We've got a lot going on in here as well. First and foremost, worm flooring. So instead of the rubber mats, they wanted the worm flooring, permanent, unpenetrable. It's a great option on these. You'd never have to pull mats. This is a big trailer. That's a lot of mats you're going to have to pull to clean this out. So that they don't have to worry about. Now, airflow dividers, padded dividers as well. And as we get to this back section, I showed you we had the jail bars on the hip side of these last 4. So what this customer wanted is, they said, I want to be able to make maybe a couple box stalls. Maybe they're hauling some mares and foals, something along those lines. So these back 4 dividers are all on an AR latch, so we can unpin these. It's a 2-person job just because of the length and just the awkwardness of that. But we can unpin this divider and take it out. Then as you see the next one, stud divider, so full to the floor, extended bars all the way across. Now we have a box stall. Then just ahead of that, exact same setup. Another partial AR latch. Divider ahead of it is going to be another full stud divider with the extended bars. So we can take this divider out now and have 2 box stalls. These are also on AR latches, so if they wanted to move them from one area to another, they could do that as well. But it's just a versatile trailer, and that's what they wanted. So our suggestion was, hey, go ahead and put jail bars on this tail side. That way, excuse me, you can have these drop windows down and have them loose if you want to. We don't have to worry about them sticking their heads out as far as that's concerned. We have fans at every stall. So 8 of them, 4 and 4 on separate switches, OptiBrite lights. There's 8 of them, so a lot of lights in this actual trailer itself. Now with that integrated pod, it always drops the ceiling height on the actual stall area. So 7'7" tall trailer with the integrated pod, we're at about 7 foot right here. Standard on a Cimarron 7'1", so it's right there about that standard height as far as that's concerned. But that's just the way, whenever you do an integrated pod, it's going to drop your actual, ceiling height on the inside of the stall area. We have an insulated roof that's standard on every single Cimarron. But as you can see, because of the actual drop of that pod itself, we're gonna go ahead and cap it with the aluminum sheets on the inside here. And then the first 3 dividers are gonna be the partial with pads, airflow again. These here aren't on AR latches, so only the back 4 are, so those could be kind of swapped in and out if you wanted to do that. Then we put some roof vents kind of from this point forward, so you do have a little bit. We're ahead of that pod now, so we've got the ability to go ahead and put those actual vents in this area itself. So really cool trailer as far as this stall configuration goes. Again, a lot of versatility. That's one thing that we've really found over the last couple of years on building so many custom trailers for customers is they want the versatility. They want to be able to do whatever they want, have that flexibility, and Cimarron really gives us a lot of those options and the ability to do that. You've got your kick mats in here, recessed paddle latch. These are a heavy UHNW plastic paddle itself, so we don't have that aluminum. Actually, you know, a metal to metal type contact, creating a lot of noise itself. They slam really easily, so safe for use, safe for the horses, but really easy and functional as far as that's concerned. So we've talked about all these cool options, talked about, you know, the roof a little bit, but let's talk about the construction of this trailer. All aluminum construction. I am standing on the industry's best floor. It's a 12-inch deck, extruded piece of aluminum that locks together high and low, tongue and groove, but they're on 4-inch centers. So the easiest way to tell, in my opinion, quality of an all aluminum trailer, get on your hands and knees, crawl underneath and look at the floor. As you start seeing centers spread apart, you're gonna notice a cheaper made trailer. That's just the honest truth about it. Now, 4-inch centers closer together. Think about wherever you have a horse standing on this floor, they're standing on a support beam. So that's where we're not gonna get those pits and waves that you're gonna see in other trailers that are gonna collect urine, you know, start to corrode because that center's farther apart and you have a horse standing in the middle of it. Again, on a Cimarron, they're standing on an actual support beam. So really stout floor as far as that's concerned on all these Cimarrons. So on that back, you can kind of see a little bit of a wall there. That's because behind it here is going to be a broom closet. Great storage room. You know, you could put some, whether it's apple pickers, shovels, anything like that, just additional storage. Again, you can never have enough storage on trailers. This one's got it. I mean, this has a ton throughout this entire trailer itself. Another fold-up step on it. Combo lock on this as well, the broom closet itself. Excuse me. There's a good look at the driver's side drop windows. The other thing I want you to notice on those drop windows is all that white you see right here. This is all framework behind this sheeting. So between the window and the edge of these doors, that's all framework. So these are big, heavy duty, massive drop windows. Every time you're going to use this trailer, more than likely you're going to drop these. So we want them to hold up over time, be extremely durable. These have that ability. Big welded hinges with grease zerks on them, so easier to maintain. You start getting a hinge that's kind of squeaking a little bit, you just put grease to it. A little bit goes a long ways. But then as you open and close this, you'll kind of notice a brass rod there in the middle. A lot of other competitors will have a welded hinge, but what you have to do is you have to heat them up and then try to feed some type of lubricant between them, and it's really hard to do. This here, by putting the grease to it, there's a groove in this rod that goes through here. You open and close it, and it'll feed that grease throughout the entire hinge itself. Drip rail above the windows, above doors, that's an actual extrusion. So it's not like a riveted piece of aluminum after the fact. No, they have an extrusion just for those drop windows, above tack doors, trying to get moisture away from these windows themselves. But again, heavy duty doors, heavy duty windows. You're gonna have that on the actual tack doors as well. That big, massive, just framework in them. Nice solid seal to them. Jail bars will drop on these because if you need to, go ahead and put water to somebody, you can drop them themselves. But then back behind here, if you notice, we're gonna start having some mangers. So again, additional storage throughout this trailer. So we ended up with 4 manger doors on this. But on an 8-horse, you think about the length of this trailer, and now all of a sudden we have additional storage back behind there. You can carry a lot of items with you. Again, never have enough storage. Now, we talked briefly about this being a triple axle air ride. So here's a good look. 3 8,000-pound axles. This is a system by Dexter. You're gonna notice these are 19.5-inch wheels, 16-ply tires. It's a Continental tire, so again, a really, really good running gear underneath this trailer themselves. Electric over hydraulic disc brakes. Now, just the way that these air ride trailers pull, they pull phenomenally well. Triple axles pull extremely well. We cap it off with air ride. Look, these horses, they're a big investment. We're spending a lot of time, a lot of money on them, going to travel, a lot of times going to compete, especially long distances. We need those extra days of recovery. Once you pull an air ride trailer, you're gonna know and realize you can actually probably pull at least a day off, just recovery time. These horses are gonna step off this trailer fresher. They're not getting the jolts from just bad roads in general. It makes a world of difference. Think about, again, cutting off that time, being away from home, additional labor, additional hotel rooms, being on the road itself. Think about the vet bills that we're having to deal with as well. We're giving these horses the best opportunity to go compete at the highest level. Why not put air ride on it? Yes, it is an investment and a cost right up front, but believe me, once you start breaking it down over the longevity you're gonna own this trailer, the amount of shows, the amount of horses, the amount of miles, it's minimal. It's well worth it. And one of the most common responses we get from customers is, I'll never own another trailer without air ride having the actual trailer. Now we're gonna kind of come back to this because we're gonna talk about the way that these triple axles turn and kind of the challenges with that. So stay tuned, we're gonna come back to that and talk about a system that we do here at Transwest to kind of combat that. Now, here's the other cool thing on this trailer. There's that big trainer tack. So it's a 9.5-foot short wall. Again, we had a 4-foot offset, so that other wall on the other side of the trailer, that front tack room is 13.5. We have a 7-foot opening here. So we have these dual doors. As you can see, they match. We've got bridle hooks, carpet behind them, brush trays on each one. Again, fold up steps. Now, again, this trailer is raised up. When you're loading, unloading at an event, unloading saddles, loading saddles, dump the air on it. Gets it 2.5 inches closer to the ground. That rear ramp isn't as steep because you change the angle. These steps aren't as big here. But as you can see, we've got the ability to haul a lot of stuff in here. We have 3 recessed posts with 4 tiers of saddle pads. You've got blanket poles in the middle there. Everything's adjustable. So if you wanted to move them up and down, change sequence of things, move one to the other, you have the ability to do that. Carpet behind everything. We want to protect all that tack you're putting in here. Bridle hooks, 2 rows on the back wall, this front wall. So again, protecting everything, but boy, an absolute ton of tack you can carry on this trailer itself. And then this is a flooring that we've been doing quite a bit on some trailers. It's this gray rubber. It's got a lot of grip to it, really easy to clean. Mats can still get stuff underneath them. You got to pull them out. This here, they lay down, it's one piece, they cut it and they silicone around the edges. So again, it protects it, a lot of grip, but again, really easy to clean. But how cool is that just big, massive tack room? This is a good look at the internal lock on it. So this door here will actually shut first. And you just slam it shut and that internal pins go ahead and lock it into place. Then we've got the other door that goes over it. Deadbolt combo on it as well. The fold-up steps are really nice. Just having that ability to be able to step up when you're grabbing a saddle or taking a saddle in, again, it makes a world of difference there. Now, let's get back to that triple axle. One of the issues with triple axles, they pull phenomenally well, but especially when you get into the summer months on asphalt, it's really hard on everything when you go to turn these trailers, especially in really tight areas. You can look down, you know, out of your driver's side mirror, and you can almost see the tires, the axles, they're all fighting each other. They're all trying to go different directions. And we have 3 of them in play there. So we usually notice that the first and front axle, or the first and last axle, those are the worst when they go to fight each other. That's where you get that tire scrub, and really kind of just putting a lot of stress on the actual tires, the sidewall, the hubs themselves, the axles in general. So think about asphalt, 95 degrees, 100 degrees, rubber's warm, you know, they really want to dig in, and there's not a lot of give there. And again, it puts a lot of stress on it. So what we do here, this is exclusive here at Transwest, is we put an air dump on the front axle. Now we put it on the front axle because what it's actually doing is it's actually shifting the weight, the tongue weight, you know, more towards the actual truck. So we're actually taking more weight off the axles themselves. So we're trying to free them up quite a bit. Again, not put as much stress on them. So what we can do is we can air dump the front axle. It won't physically pick it up off the ground, but it'll shift that weight to the back 2 axles. You'll usually hear the compressor kick on, compensating for that, but that front axle will just skate. So then we can get into situations and crank this trailer around like a tandem rather than a triple. Again, that's always been the knock. So if you notice up here on this bottom rail of this gooseneck here is a light. Well, that light you can see from driver's seat. And what we have is we have a little key fob, you know, just like a pickup unlock lock fob. And all I have to do is hit on, and we're actually dumping the air out of that front axle. So now we can turn this thing around again like a tandem rather than a triple. Then all you have to do is hit the off button, and it'll kick off, it'll put the air back to it. So you need to give it a little bit of time. So if you're driving somewhere and you go, okay, I got to crank this trailer around, be prepared a little bit, hit that on button, let that air dump, let it transfer to those back 2 axles, and then you can crank it around. And then give it a little time, hit it off, you're good to go. So this is a fantastic piece. You have to be careful where you put this, you know, put it somewhere where it's not going to get bumped as you're traveling, but that's why we have the light on there, so it does indicate, and it tells you, hey, this thing's on. That way you're not, you know, accidentally bumping it and leaving it on, and then there's no resistance. That first axle, electric over hydraulic disc brakes, you hit your brakes really hard, no resistance. Again, you can kind of flat spot that front axle tire. So just keep it somewhere nice and safe. We'll walk you through it. The system itself, when you come to pick up your trailer, again, it's a cool option to add on. If you're running a triple axle air ride and you want it done, you can bring it to us and we can do that part of it here. But talk about an awesome 8-horse. I mean, they didn't miss much on this trailer at all. I mean, this is an absolutely beautiful trailer, set up how they want it and how it's going to function for them. Again, it's a 2023 Cimarron Norstar 8-horse gooseneck. I'm going to give you the stock number on it, just for reference, 5N221362. So if you want this exact trailer, or hey, I want that, but I want to make some tweaks, you can reference that. We can pull up the information and help you throughout that process. We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade, downsize into something else, we can help you out there. Financing is available, and so is delivery. We can deliver these trailers to you. So give us a call. Anyone on our sales team can help you out. Our number is 303-684-3400. We appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.